Today we're going to take another trip down to Central America, to Guatemala, to talk about Comunicaciones FC. Los Cremas, as they're known, due to their original color being cream rather than all white, are the dominant team along with their rivals Municipal in Guatemala. As you've probably noticed about clubs in this region in different countries, there's usually 2, maybe 3 clubs that are dominant on a level well above all the other teams within the country, and Guatemala is no different. Both clubs have 31 national titles to their name, which means there's a dramatic drop-off to the third place, which is Aurora, a club that's currently in lower divisions, having 8 national titles. Really, their closest rival has to be Xelajú, who is based outside of the capital city, which makes them Comunicaciones' kind of closest second rival to Municipal. I got this kit earlier this year out of respect to them for defeating my hometown club, Colorado Rapids, in the Champions League first round. It was a difficult loss because it took place in what felt like -7 degrees Fahrenheit temperatures here in Colorado and a snowstorm. Speaking of the Champions League, they've actually won one back in 1978, although their rival fans at Municipal might love to throw an asterisk on it due to how that round of the tournament played out. Back then it was called the Champions Cup, now it's called the Champions League. You've probably heard me use different names for different competitions, even though they're pretty much the same thing in a lot of regards, like the Champions League in Europe, having previously been the European Cup. Same kind of thing with the Europa League, as well as what it was previously called the UEFA Cup. Back in the day in the Champions Cup, it was based off of 3 zones, those being the North American, the Central American, and the Caribbean. Each of those zones was made up of clubs just from that area. They would compete against each other until there was a champion of that zone, and from the 3 of them, then the North American and the Central American champions would play each other in a final tournament, which then led to a final against the Caribbean champion. The problem in '78 is the first part of the tournament happened, the second part, the final, didn't because of financial concerns, so they gave the title itself to all 3 clubs. Comunicaciones might seem like an odd choice for the name of a club, it just means communications in Spanish, but it all goes down to when the club was founded with this name. In 1949, it was purchased by the Minister of Telegraphs and Communications within the country, and he changed the name to his profession, communication. The last fun thing I've learned about Comunicaciones this year is their mascot. The mascot here is a pretty cool one because it is Casper the Friendly Ghost, who they pulled down from Miami in the 80s as just something that they really liked. Probably goes after the all-white of their kit, being ghostly. With this being one of the 2 biggest clubs in Guatemala, they've had and currently have some of the best Guatemalan players that are around. Comunicaciones seems to be a club that many players will start at, come back to, and just want to return to in general, with a name like Freddie Thompson being one that's been on their books 3 different times. He's also a player well-renowned in the Guatemalan national team, having been capped 96 times. And to pick out just one name from the current squad, Oscar Santis is one of their best players. At 23, he's young, but already making an impact for the Guatemalan national team. As a winger, he's already scored 5 goals for them. So, that's Comunicaciones, our first club that we've taken a look at from Guatemala.